beautiful. That's beautiful.
So chill.
So chilled.
For what morning is it? Wednesday?
I don't know. I know it's 2024 though.
It is 2024.
Holy mother of moly, where did 2023 go?
Yeah, it went by in a flash.
It did. It did indeed. Well, welcome back to Andertons TV. Hope your January is going good. What are your resolutions, other than the same as all middle-aged men?
To get less. What? I'm not middle-aged. Speak for yourself, man.
At what point does middle-age start now, then?
44.
Wow.
Well, the average age of a man is what, 88 to 100, 88 to 90, is it not?
I thought it was like 75 or something.
Well, I watched a Ricky Gervais stand-up last night, and apparently the average lifespan now, people are expected to live to around 100.
Wow. So you're not, okay, I take it back then.
I'm 35, man. I've got some time.
You're young.
However,
mere whippersnapper.
I would say that my resolution is probably the same as every other middle-aged man, which is lose the Christmas kilos.
Oh man, lose the Christmas kilos.
Yeah.
Start going to bed on time again.
Yeah.
Practice more guitar and buy more pedals. So, so 2023 was a cool year for you. You were embraced into the Music Man family.
I was.
I've always thought that Music Man's artist roster is insane when you think that actually they're still a relatively small guitar manufacturer compared to your sort of Fenders and Gibsons and stuff like that. So I thought what we do is plug you back in stereo, and we just run through the family that you are
part of now.
You are, welcoming. So, I mean, we'll start with Luke.
Yes.
He's been a Music Man artist for...
Is it 20 years, 30 years?
I can kind of remember Valley Arts back in maybe 80s, but I think he's been a Music Man guy for a long time.
Well, because he just released his anniversary models of the Luke, right?
So we've got two Luke models here. All the guitars that we're using today are the full fat American Music Man guitars. There will be sterling versions of a lot of these that'll be a bit more affordable.
I can also confirm that if you buy this, there won't be fingerprints all over it.
If they're your fingerprints, that might make it better.
Yeah.
So come on, give us a bit of a demo on that guitar, and then tell me about your sort of, what are your Luke, I don't know, like influences or favourite things that he does? What do you like about him?
Well, for the guitar, as far as that's concerned, I went this one over the double humbucker one, which is over here, because this is HSS, which I liked. So obviously you've got your neck pickup. Let me turn down the old...
That's quite a Lukey sound, actually, and quite a Lukey riff.
It's a spanky single coil vibe. Yeah, that is spanky. So
what's he gone back to using now? Because I know for a long time he was EMG guy, wasn't he? But he's obviously gone back to...
These may even be Music Man pickups. I actually don't know.
There's no active or anything, is it? Got battery compartment?
It's got a mag boost in it. Ooh. But that's just a 20 dB gain boost from the guitar.
Nice.
So you can drive like if this is my sound. But yeah, and you got... That's a nice sound. So that's cool. Volume and tone, and it looks like, could be wrong, but it looks like rosewood.
What do you think of the neck on... Because I always thought... Let me just try your guitar. Yeah, you see, I think your guitar is a bit of a departure from the really, traditional Music Man neck, which I always found was just a bit narrower than Strats and Les Pauls and stuff.
Yeah, so that was one of the first requests, was kind of have a bigger neck, because my hands are big. And this is actually, it's still thinner quite a bit, or it feels it in terms of the shape on the back. This is like, how do you say, shallow? Is it that it's wide here, but it's quite...
So you're saying narrow this way, but sort of conventional this way?
Yeah. So it does feel, it makes it feel thinner overall. Whereas the shoulders, should I say, here, are mine are thicker.
Yeah.
So you feel like there's more underneath your hand. But Yeah, they've always had. I mean, like my first Music Man guitar was a JP15.
Was it?
Which the neck on that was like, I was like, whoa, this is tiny. Like, maybe John Petrucci has really small hands, or maybe he just likes a tiny neck, but it's minuscule.
Anyway, we'll come to Petrucci later. What was your favourite Lukather kind of?
I wouldn't consider myself like a huge fan or anything, but there are riffs that stick out. I'm not saying that I'm not a fan. I'm just saying that like I haven't heard everything he's done.
I get that, yeah.
But I guess yeah, like to be honest, it would have to be probably that's a great one.
Great riff.
Or of course you could do. Like, and in case people didn't know that he actually wrote that riff.
How do you? I mean, is that the pulling power of Michael Jackson? Who was the producer? Was that Quincy Jones?
Yeah.
So are you sort of, it's like need a couple of guitar players for this track?
Well, I wonder whether it's like, because Toto were obviously probably quite big at the time, whether it's like pulling in
that's what I mean,
that he knew of that were big.
But that's what I mean, the pulling power to, it's like, how many tracks now
He's also a
come
prolific songwriter, is Steve Lukather. Like, he writes a lot of stuff.
But it's when was the last time that like a big pop single just went and got like
all the big
I suppose
big
John Mayer does the odd sort of guesty thing, doesn't he, like with Ed Sheeran or whatever, but it's like that idea of just get Steve Lukather, but somebody's got to tell him he can't play the solo.
Yeah, how do you think you felt about that? Like, so here's the thing, Steve, we love the riff.
Love the riff.
But Eddie's just come to do the solo, if that's all right. You'd have to just be like, fair enough.
Yeah,
you would.
So anyway, look, let's just hold up the two. So can we just have a quick listen to the one with the two humbuckers? I wonder when he.
Yeah, I've got
still
a
a five-way blade though, isn't it? Does it do the? Does it?
Yeah.
So it'll do a split neck. The one thing that you do see with American-made Music Man is it's like
the necks and the fretboard edges.
It's custom shop level. They don't really do that, with and this is nothing against the guitars that Fender and Gibson make round about that sort of £1,500 mark, but they're a more mass-produced American feeling kind of guitar, aren't they? Music Man don't really do that, do they? They just it's just full fat, expensive feeling guitars.
Yeah, and I feel like, what's interesting, like some people don't actually know that they make guitars. Some people think they just make basses. So I feel like...
And strings.
Yeah. And I feel like it's something that is becoming more widely known now with guys like Tosin doing stuff. But that's one thing I thought when I first tried them was like, the neck, the fretboard edges for me was like a big one. I remember thinking, wow, these feel played in. Do you reckon it's 8s on that?
Well, this is a straight stock Luke guitar. We've not restrung it or done anything with it. But is that similarly light? Because I can only imagine that...
they feel quite light.
I wonder if he does... Or if it's just a shorter scale and they're just 9s, but they feel super slinky, don't they?
They feel thin, yeah, for sure. But that's not really giving us a good example of how it sounds, is it?
I think it sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing, but at the same time, it's like, these are the in-between sounds.
It doesn't do that spank on the neck. It's a warmer sounding neck.
Yeah.
It's
kind of spanky.
But not like the single coil.
No, and it has the mag boost still.
Let's talk about Petrucci. Mr. John Petrucci, lovely, lovely man.
Petrucci.
So he's got kind of, again, he's another guy that's been with Music Man for a long time. Was with Ibanez, if you go right back.
Yeah, he had like a Picasso-looking
very
guitar,
cool guitar, yeah. Do you know what? It's so long ago that I think when you see videos of John Petrucci with his Ibanez signatures, he looks so different. 'Cause he's
So
sort
young.
of massively bulked up, I think, beefed up.
Yeah, he was thin and young.
Yeah, and he's like, you think, God, I don't even realise it's him. But tell me, what's the difference between the sort of Majesty and the JP style mod? Because this is almost, you can see the body shape's not dissimilar to the Luke on the
the
JP,
main
isn't it?
difference is the construction of it. So this is a completely, I believe it's a set through. So that's the main difference because that's a bolt on. The shape obviously is hugely different. I actually, when I was at the factory, when I got to go over there last April, I saw the first iteration of the shape and it was huge. They said they had to make it so much smaller. Like, I got to hold the prototype and the body was like, I don't know, like a good 10-20% bigger and it felt giant.
Because I remember when it's been a few years now, but he did an amazing video with Andertons a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he talks about this arc from his elbow of all the controls needing to be within this sort of arc. It was, and again, it was just interesting just how important it is to be able to change stuff.
Well, he's very particular about that stuff. I mean, even on the Ibanez, it was the same thing where he'd have the knob placement and stuff. But I think in terms of what the guitar does, it's the same as that, in the sense you've got a piezo pickups for your cleans, or for like, he does a lot of stuff like that in Dream Theater. Like, I think I can
Let's have a little listen.
See if I can get
So
that
we just
sound.
got mono cable, so it's basically sums like a piezo and a magnetic sound into... you're right, yeah, you can see actually on the saddles here, if we do a super close-up, you can see these little piezo inserts on top of the saddles.
And this is the three-way toggle, so you can have up position is piezo, middle position is both the pickups and the piezo,
Cool.
And then that's just pickups.
Oh, Robin Hood. The, was it Robin, the hooded one? Was that what it is? That's the chords you're too young.
Was it? All right, well, I'm glad I managed to spin
There you
that
go, one
memory
for Oz.
you.
Oz can insert the 5 seconds of the theme tune. But I'm sure it's Robin the hooded one.
But it sounds lovely, especially with reverb, bit of compression. Yeah.
So would you say Petrucci is, of all the Music Man artists, the one that you feel you were most influenced by or are most into?
Yeah, I would say, so back in the day when I was like learning, like soaking it all up, like Satch and Extreme and stuff like that, I came across, my dad told me about Dream Theater, so I listened to a bit of that, but I think at my age, I didn't really enjoy that as much as I found Liquid Tension Experiment,
right,
which was a bit more aggressive, which I really liked. And then I found, and the one that stuck with me the most was the Suspended Animation solo album. That first solo album he did, that one blew my mind.
Right.
Because it was, to be honest, I didn't really like the vocals for Dream Theater.
Okay.
James LeBrie kind of annoyed me.
What, just too
power metal, too
power,
like,
right.
It's just not my vibe. But
it's funny to say things like that, because I have the same with Rush.
Yeah.
Like, amazing band, amazing songs. The Tom Sawyer thing I can listen to, but I just sometimes I don't know, I just never really like the tonality of sounds really bad. Crappy guitar store man basically slags off biggest prog band in the world.
No, it's all music down to your own personal taste, isn't it? But for me, it kind of got in the way of the music, even though some people really like it. I remember hearing the Train of Thought album, and that for me was like Dream Theater's more aggressive album with As I Am and stuff like that on it, like Honor Thy Father, I think it's called. Yeah. All that stuff I loved. But when I heard Suspended Animation, it was like John Petrucci got to just go off on his own, use his imagination for all these crazy... There's a song called Damage Control, and that just takes you on such an amazing journey.
I can't
play it.
I don't mean like that, but play us some heavier, the sort of stuff that you're sort of saying maybe inspired you from that period.
What, on this guitar?
Yeah.
I'll try and play a riff. I don't know any of the riffs.
It doesn't have to be one of theirs. It can just be anything sort of heavyish and...
I don't know where you'd play it, actually. That's the damage control riff.
Oh, that's not. I don't think I've ever heard that, but that's not what I was.
No,
expecting.
It's really. I wish it's made me want to learn it now, but it's way too hard to learn. Honestly, John Petrucci, when he goes for it, it's insane. But that album, I remember just being blown away with the guitar playing, and that's the one that inspired me the most. I remember trying to learn Glasgow Kiss when I was like 18. I probably played it like so disgustingly horrible. Like if there's any video, I can't even remember how you play it. It's like a. I can't remember it.
I wonder if
that's so bad.
It surprises me that a band from the US would even know what a Glasgow Kiss is.
Perhaps
their fans in America thought it was a romantic song about falling in love with a girl from Scotland.
That was probably the worst rendition of Glasgow Kiss on the internet. I mean, I have to admit, last time I tried to play that was about 17. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I mean, as far as the guitar is concerned, though, the neck looks wider on that.
Yeah, the neck on this, I think, is a bit wider than the JP15. Obviously, you've got all this crazy contouring on the guitar itself. You know, like the trem, I think, is very similar to other guitars, but it's a bit sharper so that it accents this, the shovel, as I call it. I don't actually know what it is.
The shield.
Yeah, the shield, that's it. the
shovel.
For me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know. But apart from that, yeah, you've still got the mag boost. There's a coil split on the middle position, volume and tone and all the rest of it, and the piezo. So it's an absolute workhorse guitar.
Put one of your big stereo, kind of more traditional Rabea style tones on there and just give us a quick noodle and then we'll move on to the next one. So that's artist number 2. Now, again, we can either here go to the Kaizen, because I know, again, you know, Tozin's probably more of a contemporary sort of type player to you. Or we can talk about a couple of players that play a completely different style
Let's go with
to you.
this one.
Okay. So, James Valentine of Maroon 5.
Now, this neck feels a lot closer to my guitar.
Right, okay.
It's still thinner, but it feels closer.
I think that's got a sort of a more traditional telly kind of vibe to it.
Well, this is a telly pickup.
Oh, okay.
With a humbucker style cover on the top.
Oh, is that a Music Man made thing?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
So
cool.
Music Man wind their own pickups, and they've started speccing them in pretty much all their guitars. Like the Kaizen has Music Man pickups in it, this HT pickups or whatever. So I'm assuming that's what's in here. But yeah, essentially, it's a... What telly model is it that has a humbucker in the neck and a...
Things like the Deluxe, isn't it? The
so
72 Deluxe.
That's basically what this is.
So the only thing, I suppose, perhaps that makes this non-telly-ish is that normally you'd have the pickup, you know, as part of the bridge.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe it's more of like a combination of a telly and a junior, isn't it? Like a Les Paul Junior or something. But let's have a little listen to this.
Yeah. No, it definitely sounds telly-ish. And then what would this be? Then you've got middle position. That's very telly.
No mag boost on. Oh, there is. So you still got the same.
They really like their mag boost.
They do.
I actually asked for it not to be in mine.
Okay.
Because I I don't think I'd ever really use a boost from the guitar.
You want it on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't fussed, but it's definitely there. But that's got a very telly middle position. Yeah, I mean, that's a neck humbucker.
I mean, in terms of records sold, he's probably the biggest artist that Music Man has got.
Easily.
But perhaps maybe in a band that isn't quite as guitar-led as something like Dream Theater or whatever.
It's nice that he got to have his own shape as well, though. Like this is a signature model in the sense that it's his shape design, as is the Luke and the Petrucci.
Yeah, no, I like it. I love that colour as well. I mean, that's
like champagne,
colour, isn't it? Yeah, something like that.
Champagne.
Okay, let's talk about St. Vincent. Okay, so St. Vincent, I have to say, probably I'm the least familiar with her music of all of these, but it's a wicked looking guitar.
She's like an avant-garde kind of pop singer, guitarist. Like the thing that I don't know really much about her at all or any of her music really. I know Hannah does, but I think what it is that she incorporates the guitar in most of the time. So she sort of like in the world of like pop singers or songwriters identifies as a guitarist as well.
It's a killer look. I mean, I love the sort of angular. I mean, I'm trying to think where it draws inspiration from.
I think it draws inspiration. I could be wrong, but I think it draws inspiration from those old, like 50s drawings of women, like in that sort of Art Deco thing. Because this is like hips,
sort of hourglass type.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the three mini humbuckers, gold foil kind of thing gives me it's like a Taisco kind of vibe, that sort of early Japanese kind of...
I'm getting a lot of Art Deco from it.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what you don't notice as much when you just see pictures of these. You don't see these contours as much in it. It's a really attractive, body carve when you see it in the flesh.
I feel like it derived from the Armada. Do you remember the Armada?
Yes, that was a cool looking guitar.
Yeah.
That had the shield thing on it, didn't it?
Yeah, but it also
Majesty
had this contouring.
Oh, cool. Let's have a little listen there, because it's
I love
unusual.
the inlays.
Yes. Oh, it looks a bit like Coco Chanel type.
Oh, it does, doesn't
vibe
it?
On the
and
inlays,
the inverted headstock, which I actually think is pretty cool on the Music Man.
Is that a standard St. Vincent thing? Are they all reversed?
Yeah, they're all reversed,
are they? I mean, that when I was trying to tune that freaked me out for a bit, trying to work out where
two
the
on top.
were. Yeah, but
I like the pearl buttons too. But yeah, so let's have a little listen. So I've got just. It's quite pokey.
It is, isn't it?
And then
those in-between sounds are great, aren't they?
Kind of very stratty, right? Like these two.
I mean, I said they were mini humbuckers. I'm just assuming because of the size of them, but they sound kind of stratty, don't they?
They've got more of a single coil vibe, somewhere between a single coil and a P90 in terms of the thickness. But so then neck, because that's definitely thicker than a single coil.
Yes.
And the neck is actually quite thick too.
Yeah, when I did that on the opening intro, apart from the body shape obviously being quite different, it's a very familiar feeling.
Do you know what I love about Music Man guitars as well?
The smell of the oil.
The smell of the oil they put on the necks. It's like maple syrup. It's so good. Yeah. It is, and your
not
hands...
doing the post-Christmas diet any good whatsoever.
No.
Salivating,
but your
might
hands
start eating the neck.
Your hands smell a bit after you've been playing a while too.
I really like this shield, this cover over the trem system.
So
it's a really interesting, really ergonomic, nice feeling trem.
It looks cool, and the brass saddles are definitely different. This was actually on my first prototype, but I changed it because I didn't like how much surface area there was.
Oh, okay.
Because if I was playing a gig, so I got to tour my prototype, and what I found was that if I'd get a bit sweaty during a gig, my hand would slip around on this metal surface a lot. So I wanted less there.
Yours looks like it's sunk as well, or is it just a lower profile?
It's lower profile.
Right.
So, but yeah, we got a mag boost on this one. No, we don't have a mag boost on this one.
No, I like that a lot. It reminds me again. Was there a Gretsch Bo Diddley or something like that was that kind of a more rectangular kind of shape? But that's very cool.
Yes,
that's very cool. Let's do the last one, Kaizen. Now this was I know
it's a wild guitar, this.
Good mates with Tosin. I've never met him, apart from maybe at a show to go hello.
I was good mate. Well, I wouldn't say good mates with him. I would say friends. But I remember at the NAMM show one year, and I was with my friend Max, and me and Tosin and Max were hanging out like on the Sunday. Went to a few different booths, playing guitar, like just hanging out. And I was like, this is so cool. And then before I left, I was like, let's get a picture for Instagram. And Max, being the sarky little Scottish guy that he is, he gets the camera and he goes, he's like behind the camera, and me and Tosin stood there, and he goes, he's such a big fan. He talks about you all the time, like this, in this kind of really like, he was joking, but Tosin turned to me and he's looking at me a bit like,
oh no.
And I was like, because you know when you feel like someone taking them seriously, and he felt a bit weird? That's what happened in that moment. And I turned to Max, I'm like, like, I was so annoyed at him. So I feel like after that, Tosin's always been a bit like,
But so I don't think I've ever played.
I mean, I like the guy. I wouldn't say I was a massive fan, but I like what he does.
Oh, okay,
because I think he's amazing for what he's done with the world of guitar.
Yeah, great player.
Yeah.
But so I don't think I've ever played one of his actual Abassi guitars, and obviously it's a very different body shape.
So I've got a Lorada 7-string.
Is that the one with the massive kind of bit where the body comes up to like the 12th fret or whatever it comes
The only issue for me with that is it's 7-string, and I don't play 7-string.
Right.
But I remember sitting with it thinking, this is a really cool guitar. The fan fret, the ergonomic aspect of it felt really nice. I really enjoyed that guitar. It sounded good. Had the Fishman Fluence pickups in it. But as I say, phenomenal player, like super influential and lovely guy.
I was really surprised amp-wise as well. In a world where everybody's...
Plays a Morgan, doesn't he?
Plays a Bad Cat.
He does now.
Yeah, but did he play Morgan
He had a
before
Morgan, one of those SR50 something or other. It's because it's a pedal platform.
Right.
So most of his tone comes from pedals. And he had it set up at the Abassi Concepts booth at NAMM every year. Usually has a rig like that set with his pedal board, and the tones are really good.
Yeah. He just strikes me as the kind of player that would go digital. I don't know
I think he started digital.
Right, okay.
So my theory with some of these players, Tosin being a great example, is that I think he was Axe Effect. I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm thinking Axe Effects, like the first album stuff. And then what they're trying to do is almost go the other way, but still achieve the same level of flexibility. So a massive pedal board, valve amp, which is what I've always done. A massive pedal board. Like in a way, you get a ton of flexibility with tones, and all the switching with these is an ES8, I think, or some sort of switcher. So you get all the patch changes and everything, but it's valve tone and feel. But what was really interesting was when I was at the booth playing that setup, it felt very like there was a lot of compression under the fingers, very easy to play. The easiest valve amp setup I've ever played was at the Abassi concert. I remember thinking that, wow, I can shred to my heart's content. I sound amazing on this rig because it's come from somebody maybe that's more into their models.
Yeah. So how did the Kaizen thing kind of, the collaboration come around?
I mean, I actually don't know how they got involved together on that, but what I know is that with regard, so the Kaizen means something like constant improvement or constant progression or something in Japanese, is it? I think.
It does.
Okay.
Because I remember that actually, we had to look that up
Right.
when we did the video of this, but you're absolutely right, that's what it means. in
Yeah,
Japanese,
so I think it was born out of their concept of like, let's see how forward thinking we can be with guitar design. So there's so many things about this, like the infinity fretboard radius, which is the idea that, you know, you don't have to do this to look over while you're playing, you know? You can be like this it's very subtle, but it's there. These crazy tuners.
Yeah, they got like the Steinberger tuners, haven't they?
Yeah,
But,
I actually prefer the bigger headstock as well.
right.
I actually think that looks much nicer for me, to have a bigger headstock shape like that. But yeah, in terms of like the ergonomics of it, it's super lightweight. It's fan fret. It's got these HT pickups in it, and it's got this mental sort of multi-scale bridge.
So I mean, let's hear it. But I'm interested in sort of like just some of the things that you've obviously elected to do on your guitar. But I would have. Let's hear this first, and then I'll ask you the questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's designed to be really like, I don't know, like the way Tosin plays with all this kind of mad stuff that I can't do. That's what it's designed for. The pickups are very mid-forward. It's three-way. The pickups are like, it's like a lead guitar, you know? Like it can do the heavy, but it feels to me like it's voiced so that you're playing like lead and stuff like that on it.
I noticed that when I did the demo of this last year, that the contouring on the back was really cleverly done to sort of sit close to your body.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful neck on that one as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
bird's eye. And you can see the thickness of the fretboard
Wow.
compared to that side.
Oh, I see. So that's essentially, because I don't think I've ever really consciously. I'm just trying to think. You know, if I'm playing, I'm very much just reliant on the side dots. So I've never felt like I've needed to
Yeah, I mean, it's a
see the fretboard, or maybe I do. Maybe
it's a
just
subtle thing.
subconscious.
It is a really subtle thing, but it's there. And you know, like everything about this guitar is designed to be, how would you say it? Just like ergonomically, aesthetically, like precision for guitar playing. Like it's meant to make everything easier. I think it's one of those things where if you're used to playing modern guitars with a lot of those kind of features already, this will feel quite natural to you. I'm used to playing more traditional guitars, so to me it feels more unnatural to play something like this.
So that's a great segue into your guitar, and to be honest with you, that was one of the questions I had. Now I suppose I always consider you as a relatively sort of contemporary guitar player, and yet there aren't really any contemporary features on your guitar. Like why? So let's go over to yours and remind me again. So this is a prototype of a signature model that will be out any time now. Right?
Well, it's an artist model.
Okay.
Which means this is a Sabre, but I've modified it for me.
Okay.
Signature model would be a custom shape.
Okay.
Which I hopefully will happen in the next year or two.
Right. But this will still be available to buy as an artist model, will it?
Yeah, 100%. However, this particular one, because when I woke up this morning really tired, I actually put the wrong one in my bag. This one will be limited to maybe, I don't know, 50, 100 pieces. The other colour, there are two colours. This is Frenzied Flame and Vile Blood, are the two names. The Vile Blood one will be available like full production. The Frenzied Flame is, like I said, it's limited.
So no, have you never played a sort of a guitar that's, you know, a contemporary? I don't even know what I would mean by contemporary. I suppose fan fret. multi-scale.
I don't mind them, but that wouldn't be first choice to pick up and play.
Even just, you're not even really a big 7-string player.
No, and I use 22 frets.
Right.
I've never really played 24-fret guitars.
Where
Obviously,
does that come from then?
Well, starting guitar would have been on my dad's Strat, which is 21. And then, like using that for years. And then I did get the Washburn X50, which was 24. But then after that, I got the Nuno guitar, which is 22. And it's one pickup switch, one volume, Floyd Rose, double humbucker, basic.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was the Chapman. It was the ML1.
You just never really ventured away from that sort of very traditional.
It just works.
Are you allowed to tell us now? So now that we understand the difference between an artist model and a signature model,
Yes.
Are you feeling like your signature model might be a big departure from this, or are you sort of feeling like it'll just be an evolution of this?
I mean, I don't know, but like basically, it's hopefully going to be something that happens within the next couple of years. And to be perfectly honest, I think it will just be an evolution of this. It'll probably, because this is like a slightly offset S-type guitar, right? And I've really grown to love T-type guitars, telly style. Yeah. So it'll probably be an offset T-type Sabre. Yeah, is what I would love to do. But we'll see. There are things about it that are, and again, we've made some tiny adjustments from the version that's going to be at NAMM. For example, this contouring here, I've asked for it to be deeper, so that the heel is actually even thinner. But it'll be on an angle so that it doesn't compromise the kind of structural integrity of the guitar. They were quite concerned about that. I was like, can you make it thinner and thinner and thinner?
This feels like the edges are more rounded than a standard Sabre.
Yeah, so a Sabre doesn't have this.
Yeah.
So I asked for this, and it's cool because what it does is it gives you this nice line here. Put the spoon cut in because I'm so used to that. Everything, PRS Chapman, everybody, like that is something that's just so, I'm used to that. I changed the bridge. As I said, the original Sabre has that bridge.
Yep.
And this is the same bridge off the JP15.
Right.
Which is here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can see just obviously the matte black kind of makes it look a bit different, doesn't it? I suppose you've got the piezo saddles here, so you've got more traditional.
Just classic saddles, yeah. Which I love. I think it makes the guitar look more modern, and it's way better for me.
Yeah. And what do you got? Your bare knuckle
silos are in there. The neck is thicker. It's actually meant to be thicker than this.
Right.
This got sent through, and it was slightly thinner, and we checked, and it should be thicker. But it's thicker down here and thinner up here, which is cool.
Is the other one an HSS model, or are they both two humbucker?
They're both double humbucker.
That's interesting, because I thought you were quite a fan of the sort of single coil at the neck.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe that will come soon.
Yeah.
For now, it's just the double humbucker.
And
but
just traditional tone and volume, that's it, is it?
Yeah, but we've got coil split.
Okay.
So you've got 5-way, so you have all the in-between sounds, and then you can split it down. So it only splits down the bridge and the neck.
Yeah.
The in-betweens stay the same, which is nice. Shallow locking. I've got the donut inlays.
Give us some tones then, and we'll sort of see. It'd be interesting to watch you playing this now, and see, because you've played lots of other artists' guitars, and I can imagine that you'll just feel more. This should show the full kind of familiarity for you.
Yeah, this is D standard. kind of. It's early.
Are you, have you had done one of those big Music Man kind of family events yet where all the artists are there?
No, not yet.
Will that be this NAMM, do you think?
I don't know, I hope so. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
What you,
The last NAMM, when we announced me joining, I got to go out for dinner with Brian, which was really cool. That was really nice.
this is Brian Ball of
Yeah.
the Ernie Ball kind of, you know, family.
Yeah, which was lovely. Hannah and I joined him and his wife and brother and cousin for dinner, which was very cool to be sat there. I felt a bit like out of place, but in a nice, welcomed way.
Is that still something that you find difficult to come to terms with? That you're now like, oh look, there's John Petrucci and Steve Lukather, and maybe, who knows, you know, I know Steve Morse, you often see him on the stand, you know, and there's Rabea Massage, you know.
I suppose for me, like, there is definitely a large feeling of that imposter syndrome thing still, which is why my main focus for, like, from last year and this year is just to release more music, so that just for myself I can feel a little bit more justified in that position that I'm in, to have my own guitar, you know. I think that's the beauty of the internet, is that it keeps your feet firmly planted on the ground. And because I've come from, even though I toured and played in bands for years before YouTube, I've started my career as a YouTube guitarist, and I'm trying to go the other direction. But people just let you know that you're a YouTube guitarist, and it's fine. I appreciate it because it keeps me in check. You know?
I get that. I mean, I think it's slightly, I mean, I am 100% only ever playing guitar on YouTube. So I'm happy to take that criticism all day long. And there are loads and loads of people on YouTube who, you know, similarly aren't really known for playing guitar outside of that. But I think for you, you know, you've, as you say, you've had a successful, or, you know, you've had lots and lots of successful kind of tours and experiences.
For me, it's about playing live and releasing records, and the two combined. And it's been a little while since having an originals band and my own original music, but that's 100% the focus these days.
Awesome.
But
right.
so.
Well, that looks beautiful. I look forward to. Hopefully, I will see you on the stand in LA in a couple of weeks' time. And
yeah, I'll be on the stand.
There you are.
So,
standing there with all the giants. It'll be amazing.
Yeah,
it'll be amazing.
Be
assuming they're there. But all right, man. Well, look, thank you very much for coming in. Obviously, there are other Music Man artists, and we only chose a selection of guitars based on what we had in stock, not based on, you know, who the best ones are or whatever. So that's it. But thank you very much for tuning in, and we shall see you in another video probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.